welcome back to my channel. Hope everyone's doing well out there. And we've made it, folks, through every entry in the Friday the 13th franchise, and that box set right there behind me. And the last one we're going to talk about is Friday the 13th, 2009, which is a remake slash reboot slash really a sequel. But really, this film is more of an amalgamation of the first three films. We'll talk about it. And this film came out February 13th of 2009, had a budget of $19 million, was rated R like they all are. And upon release, made $65 million in America and $92.7 worldwide. This actually opened like a $42.7 million opening weekend, which was huge at the time, especially in the Friday the 13th franchise. And it made a lot of money, but unfortunately the second weekend and the subsequent weekends it dropped significantly. But it still made a lot of money for Paramount and New Line. This is the first time since 1989 and Jason Takes Manhattan that Paramount Pictures had anything to do with the Friday the 13th film. Paramount and New Line came together to co-produce this film. That way we have the Friday the 13th title and the character Jason Voorhees. If you remember, we talked about in Jason Goes to Hell, when Paramount gave the rights back to Sean Cunningham, they gave the rights to the character, but they kept the title Friday the 13th. So they were when New Line made a film, they were unable to use the title Friday the 13th. This one, it was a true sequel because they were able to actually use the title. Now, Platinum Dunes produced this film for New Line and Paramount, Michael Bay's production company, and they had done up to that point Amityville Horror, The Hitcher remake, which I do not care for, except for Sean Bean's performance. Other than that, I think that movie's awful. Texas Chainsaw Massacre remake, which had no business as being as good as it was. It's a pretty good remake. So they brought somebody in who they've had success with in the past, and that director is Marcus Nispel, who directed Texas Chainsaw remake. And we got a pretty good little cast here. Jared Padalecki comes in, is playing Clay Miller. He is the brother of Amanda Righetti's character Whitney Miller, and her last name is a callback to Victor Miller, who wrote the original Friday the 13th. And we'll talk about their characters in a minute. Danielle Panabaker's in this film, and she plays Jenna. Travis Van Winkle plays Trent, and I only mention him because I love him in this film by how much of just a prick he is. He plays a great prick, and when he gets killed in this film, you kind of cheer it on because he's such a dickhead through the whole film. Now we have a brand new Jason in this film, somebody who's not a stranger to makeup effects or wearing prosthetics, and his name is Derek Mears, plays Jason Voorhees in this film. And actually, he's one of my favorites. Not my favorite, but one of my favorite Jasons. He knocks this role out of the park and makes it his own. And yeah, he's awesome as Jason Voorhees in this film. Now this film is, like I said, is kind of an amalgamation of the first three original films. In the beginning of the film, we got a black and white scene with Mrs. Voorhees getting her head chopped off by the last camp counselor left from 79 or 80. And then we're introduced to this group of kids, late teens, early 20s, heading out into the wilderness. This is supposed to be Jersey, but they filmed this in Texas. And you can tell it's not Jersey, but you go along with it. And they're going to camp out. Whitney is in this group with her boyfriend, and there's this other couple, and then a single dude who they're trying to find this field of weed they've heard about. And they decide to set up camp for the night, and Whitney and her boyfriend go off, and they find the old cabins from the old camp, Crystal Lake, and they start monkeying around. And the single guy gets killed. He goes to take a piss, gets killed by Jason, and Jason kills the girl, and Whitney goes back after Whitney and her boyfriend, because the girl's boyfriend comes to help her because Jason ties her upside down in a sleeping bag and lights it on fire. As he goes running, his leg gets caught in a bear trap in a very grisly scene. And Jason kills Whitney's boyfriend. Whitney runs back to the camp to find her friends, finds out that her friends are dead except for the guy. She tries to help him. Jason shows up and sticks an axe in his head. And that's when we finally see the title sequence. About 20 to 25 minutes into the film, we finally see the title Friday the 13th. And that's when we're introduced to Clay. And he is looking for we find out that he's the brother of Whitney from the beginning of the film, and he's been searching for her for the last 6 weeks since she's disappeared because the cops don't have anything. They don't know where she went. And we kind of find out a little bit better about their relationship a little bit. And then we're introduced to Trent and Jenna and these other group of friends with them. They're going to Trent's lake house, her parents' lake house, for a fun weekend of drinking, smoking weed, and a lot of sex, because there's lots of nudity in this film. From the beginning to the end, there's lots of nudity in this film. So that's your thing. You're not going to be disappointed with this entry in the Friday the 13th franchise. And basically, as any Friday the 13th franchise, Jason finds his way to Trent's house and starts killing people in very vicious and gory ways. This film definitely doesn't hold back on the carnage candy, for sure. There's some pretty damn intense, gruesome kills in this film. Jason starts picking off our cast one by one, and basically we see Trent get killed gloriously, and he gets slammed on the spike on the back of his pickup truck, and it's left to Janet gets killed, and Clay saves his sister because Jason's been holding her captive in these tunnels under Camp Crystal Lake, and we have our final showdown between Clay, Whitney, and Jason Voorhees, and they basically stick his head in a wood chipper, and Whitney shoves his machete right through his chest. We think he's dead. They put him in the lake. They're sitting there on this dock, and Jason, for one last scare, jumps out of the lake and grabs her, and the screen cuts to black, and that's the end of Friday the 13th, 2009. I don't really care for that ending because we've seen it before. They didn't really need to add that on, but they do. It's unnecessary. Things to like about this film. I think the cast is pretty good. Jared Padalecki's really good as Clay. Anna Righetti's good as Whitney. The whole cast does well here with what they're given to do. Again, I love Travis Van Winkle as the prick Trent. You're not supposed to like this guy, and he's very unlikable. But he's a fun prick to have in this movie because he's so prickish that when he does meet his maker with Jason Voorhees, when he meets his match, you're kind of like, yeah, let's see this guy get it really good. And he gets it really good. Derek Mears is great as Jason. I like the look of him. Now, again, like I said, this is an amalgamation of 1 through 3. 1 being we see the beginning with Mrs. Voorhees, and we see the child of Jason looking on when Mrs. Voorhees gets her head cut off. Jason has the bandage, like the sack head or bandages around his head to start the film, and then finally he finds his hockey mask, although in a very unceremonious way. It really is. I kind of like the way he got it in part 3 better, when he kills Shelly to get the mask, because Shelly happened to have it as a prop. In this one, he kills this redneck up in his barn, and when he kills the guy, this tarp gets pulled down, and there's the mask. And that's pretty much how he finds the mask. I don't really care about how he finds it. I don't think it's that great of a scene, but it's okay. Again, the kills are really good. There's some really great kills. When he throws the axe and hits the guy in the back as he's trying to run back to the house, I thought that was really well. Trent's kill's great. So definitely there's enough carnage candy for a Friday the 13th film here. There's nudity. There's beautiful women and lots of nudity. If that's your thing, you'll get it here. It pretty much has everything you expect from a Friday the 13th film. They really did give the fans everything they could possibly want. So I don't get some of the hate for this film. Now, some of my negatives are I don't care about how he gets his hockey mask. I already discussed that. The jump scare at the end, even the final showdown in the barn with the wood chipper, I thought could have been better. It's staged kind of oddly, and when it happens, I just thought there could have been a more fitting end. I don't think the ending's all that great. Everything leading up to it I like. The first opening scene's great. It's very intense. I like when we're introduced to the characters. Clay is kind of like that guy from part 4 looking for his sister, Rob, when he shows up and is looking for his sister because she disappeared at Camp Crystal Lake. So you could say this is actually an amalgamation of the first 4 films, although Tommy Jarvis is not in it. So yeah, they kind of combined the first 4 films and made a new film. And this is definitely kind of more of like a sequel to the original film, for sure. They retcon some stuff with Jason's actually there as a child and he sees his mother get her head cut off. Some of the directing choices I don't care for, but overall this is a very solid, very entertaining Friday the 13th film. Again, I don't understand the hate for it. This is pretty much everything we like about the original series, the best parts of it, in this film. Yes, there are some missteps for sure, but Jason looks badass, but with a badass portrayal by Derek Mears. The cast is probably the best out of any of the Friday the 13th franchise movies. The script's okay. The script was written by the same gentleman who wrote Freddy vs. Jason. But overall, I like this film. I've always liked it since I've seen it. I would give Friday the 13th, 2009 an 8.5 out of 10. I think it's a really solid, really good Friday the 13th film. What are your thoughts on this one? Leave a comment down below. Let me know. Hit the thumbs up. Hit the subscribe button. Share this video. You would appreciate that. I'll be back later in the week with my Friday the 13th ranking video. We're going to knock out the rest of my Friday the 13th videos. I'll release the last video with some of my intros, my last 4 intros. And then we're going to be on to Rob Zombie's Halloween 1 and 2 and some more horror films going through the rest of the Halloween season. So until then, I hope you're all doing well out there, and bye.